Ted Nugent's on the line. Hey, Ted, how are you, man?
It greets a peaceful revolution morning to you, Glenn.
It's insane what's going on. It's insane.
It really is. Yeah. And thank you for exposing that. I love when you spotlight cockroaches so we can stomp on them. I appreciate it.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. Why are you getting violent with cockroaches now? What is that with all the violence, Ted? Cockroaches, you're stomping on them now.
That makes the environment cleaner. It's what I do.
You were on CNN, and they were trying to bait you into violent revolution.
Well, there's a great gal at CNN, Deb Fayerick, who did a wonderful, positive, honest piece about guns, and I stood there stunned watching it last month. So when they offered to come to my ranch to do an extensive interview, I spent 7 hours with them yesterday.
Wait. With her?
Yes, with Deb Fayerick and her crew. And you know how they are. They're very gushing and very positive throughout the day.
Oh, yeah.
But they also tried to weave in questions about an armed revolution building steam across the hinterland. And I squinted and said, I don't know what you're talking about. I know there might be someone talking about that, but I hang out with some pretty wild-eyed guys, and I've never heard a hint of any reference to an armed revolution. We're going to have a revolution at the voting booth.
So where did they get that? Did you ask her? Because you should report to anybody that's having an armed, that's reporting to you about an armed revolution. Gee, CNN, you should report those people.
Yeah, well, up there in New York, what Cuomo and Bloomberg are doing is so extraordinary, so anti-constitution, so anti-common sense, that there are probably some people very frustrated and angry that may have expressed something that hinted at that. And I said, I've never heard it, and I'm engaged with Working Hard, Playing Hard America in every state in this country, and no one has ever mentioned anything like that. We're getting more involved and more engaged, and we're going to vote the bad guys out of office as soon as possible.
How did they react to that?
Well, they kept bringing it back up, but I kept straight and narrow, and I denied any such reference or any such indicators. And they were, 99% of the interview, Glenn, I think is going to be very positive. I nailed it. It was about hunting and gun rights and the role of Second Amendment, certain semi-automatic firearms technology. And you know me, I slammed the door shut on it. But she had to play devil's advocate, and I made sure I mentioned that if you argue with me, you would be taking the side of the devil, so go for it.
So it's only, by the way, it's only the 1% that anybody cares of. 99% of it was good. The 1% will be the one that they focus on.
And I believe, Glenn, that they will edit it with honesty. That's what they did with the gun feature in New York. I really do. That's why I allowed Deb Fayerick. She seemed to be honest and genuine in her pursuit.
Thank God.
I know I'm terminally.
Oh no, that's good.
hopeful.
I almost believe you. Come on, man, you're not that dumb. Really? You really believe they'll edit it honestly?
I really do. I saw the piece they did on guns previously, and it was 180 degrees opposite of the basic CNN stance. So I knew that they were countering the CNN mantra, and I believe this piece will do the same thing.
Well, that's great. At least it wasn't NBC, because they edit everything.
Oh boy, do they ever!
They edit everything.
And by the way, I filmed the whole thing as it's taking place. And it's just like the CBS interview a few months back where I did snap because I was passing a kidney stone live on the air.
CBS makes me do that too.
Yeah, and it was a 2.5-hour interview. And I got to tell you, I would be 100% proud for you and my children and my friends and honest Americans to witness the 2.5-hour interview I did to CBS, but they took out the 1 minute where I snapped. And that's typical of those networks. But I really believe that what Deborah did on the gun piece recently on CNN, that she will approach it the same way with my interview. And I gave them 7 hours, so they're planning on multiple series.
Hey, let me ask you something, Ted. I have officially given up on the Republican Party. I don't care for them at all anymore. They won't get a dime. I will campaign against people giving them any money.
Isn't that a shame, Glenn? I agree, but it's a shame. We have to work to fix that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's fixable. I think that everybody needs to start walking for the exits. And if they decide that they're going to change, great. I don't know if I'll even trust them if they come running after and saying, okay, we get it. But these guys in Washington, they don't get it. They don't care to get it. I don't even know who these guys. I don't know who these guys are anymore, and I'm just done with it. I think it's time that we flush. Everybody in the media says, the Republicans are dead, and it's because they won't compromise. No, the Republicans are dead because they don't have any values. They don't have any principles. They don't even know who they are. All they are is about winning, and that's why they're losing every time. So why don't we form a party that has actual principles that I'll bet you 80% of this country could actually, because the problems are so big, the solutions are basic principles that all thinking people can get around. Why wouldn't we do that?
Well, I concur. The time has never been more obvious than right now, and I think the glowing violations of the GOP is that they are not holding Eric Holder accountable for Fast and Furious. They are not holding Hillary Clinton accountable for the deaths of 4 Americans that were totally unnecessary. And there's so many examples, but those are the 2 most heartbreaking examples.
Let me give you another one. How about we have John Kerry now, a guy who trashed our troops, lied about our troops in Vietnam. He's now our Secretary of State.
Agreed.
How about this one? Let me give you this story. I don't even know if you know this. An 11-year-old boy is recovering from surgery following a vicious incident last Sunday in which he was mauled by 3 unleashed pit bulls. This is in the District of Columbia, suffering wounds to his legs, arms, and stomach and chest before the dogs were shot and killed. Now, this is right in the heart of the District of Columbia, and here's what happened. Kid got a new bike for Christmas. He's riding it down the street. 3 unleashed pit bulls attack this kid on the bike, throw him off the bike. They're biting him, chewing apart. This kid is screaming. A guy in his house grabs his gun, shoots the pit bulls, saves the kid. You ready? D.C., the shots alerted a D.C. police officer around the corner. They've now arrested the guy who shot and killed the kids, and they're looking into it. The rescue may have been illegal.
Shot and killed the dogs?
Shot and killed the dogs.
A perfect example of doing the universally known right thing and being punished. Remember the Navy hero in New York City who shot with his Navy M9 a multiple paroled felon he caught at 4 a.m. in his young son's bedroom. Instead of arresting the paroled felon, they arrested the Navy hero for saving his son's life, Glenn. And I could go on and on for 100 hours with examples of this government and this system doing the absolute wrong thing against people who do the absolute right thing.
You know what, Ted Nugent,
absolutely insane.
Ted Nugent, you know what? I think the best thing that you can help me with and help America with is gathering together a bunch of attorneys that will help defend people on their right to bear arms and know who these guys are, the biggest names and attorneys that will help people, because this government is going to do basically what they did in Ruby Ridge, where they're going to get you on a technicality and then there's going to be a standoff, and people have to know, don't stand off. Do not do that. You call this number and somebody in an attorney firm will come and represent you because you want your day in court. You want your day in court.
And that positive sense, that common sense is alive and well in hundreds of sheriffs and sheriff departments in this country that are standing up to this government and the federal government with their constitutional violating Second Amendment infringement. So I think there is a growing pulse, but you're right about that. If you attempt to stand up for what's right, you will be shot and killed.
I will tell you this. I've said make friends with your deputy. I would like to go out on parole with the deputies. I'd like to be deputized. I'd like to go out with the sheriffs and help in any way I possibly can. Whatever you need, sheriffs. Whatever you need. Sheriffs are your best friends. You know, Waco, the sheriff at Waco actually liked the Branch Davidians and said, I didn't agree with them. I thought they were nuts. But they were really nice guys. If the federal government would have gone to the sheriff probably could have gotten that all done without killing all of the families.
I believe that.
Ted, thanks so much, man.
Godspeed, Glenn.
Yeah, when's that story going to be on CNN?
They say the first segment will air tomorrow night, Thursday night. I don't know exactly what time, but as soon as I find out, I'll post it on my website.
We'll call you back and find out how pissed off you are when you find out that they betrayed you.
No, I'm eternally hopeful. I think I'm pretty good at this, and like I did on Pierce Morgan, I handed him his guts on his own show, so they didn't.
The only problem with that is that was just such a silent death. Nobody watched it. Nobody saw it. Nobody's watching
Did you notice
Pierce.
that?
Yeah, nobody's watching it. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Live it up, man.
By the way, an extended interview in the March issue of the Blaze magazine, an extended interview with Ted Nugent. He's the cover story of the Blaze magazine. You can find out all about it at theblaze.com.